Back in June, amidst anticipation for a long-awaited update on Metroid Prime 4, the Metroid fanbase was completely blown away when Nintendo instead announced a completely new entry in the series, Metroid Dread. Previously thought to have been abandoned in development hell, Metroid Dread has seen an unprecedented level of pre-launch praise from both longtime fans and from Nintendo itself advertising the game alongside the OLED display version of the Switch. Even the special edition of the game remains sold out online, even surpassing pre-orders for new Pokémon titles. Everything we've seen so far seems to be leading towards a very good launch for Metroid Dread, perhaps the best in the whole franchise to date. With silky smooth 60 frames per second gameplay, badass character designs for both Samus and her new foes, and a compelling storyline that seeks to explore Samus's deeper connection to her Chozo counterparts, Dread is shaping up to be Nintendo's very own contender for Game of the Year. With that said, here are 5 things we're personally looking forward to in Metroid Dread.
This mission will take Samus to the as-yet unexplored planet ZDR, which holds many secrets.
Metroid is well known for crafting some of the most elaborate and intriguing worlds in the entire video game industry. From the dank, infested caverns of planet SR388 to the labyrinthine depths of planet Zebus, every game in the franchise offers an incredibly varied and immersive alien world for players to wrap their heads around over the course of their journey. The feelings evoked by these diverse environments comprises much of the series' appeal. From the satisfaction of successfully navigating an environmental obstacle, to the nostalgia of traversing a seemingly abandoned crateria, only to find an onslaught of space pirates. Enhancing these emotions is the insane level of detail put into the game's environmental storytelling. From visual cues showing how both natural and extraterrestrial forces have shaped the surrounding landscape, to the various log entries scattered around it, this set dressing pieces together the lore of the overarching plot far more effectively than dialogue-based exposition ever could. It's these elements that make playing a Metroid game so memorable, and from what we've seen so far, Dread is shaping up to be just as diverse and memorable as we've come to expect from the series. Starting from the deepest part of the planet as opposed to its surface, we can expect to see some welcome changes to the typical Metroid game loop as we slowly make our way out of the depths, uncovering a plethora of secrets and truly dreadful revelations along the way.
Remnants of the mighty Chozo civilization are also scattered throughout, including evidence that the Chozo may have once called the planet their home.
Though Samus's connection to the ancient Chozo civilization has provided the majority of lore and backstory for the Metroid series, this information was limited in earlier games. Most interactions with the ancient bird-like alien race were relegated to encountering Chozo statues holding special power-ups, venturing through the ancient hieroglyph-riddled ruins of Chozodia, and fighting the occasional Torizo mini-boss. Fortunately, the Metroid Prime series would add a more tangible way of taking in lore. Along with scattering log entries across the game's 3D landscapes, the Prime series granted players the ability to use Samus's visor, allowing them to scan the surroundings for ancient Chozo codices and interact with environmental structures like computer terminals. These additions finally provided players the opportunity to really piece together the history of the enigmatic Chozo and learn more about their society, their motivations for creating the Metroids, and their connection to Samus Aran. Unfortunately, players have never had the opportunity to meet a surviving member of this presumably extinct alien race. As revealed in Samus Return's Chozo Memories, internal conflict involving the race's warrior class essentially wiped out the Chozo, ensuring their absence in Samus's adventures until now. For the very first time in the franchise, Metroid Dread opens up the possibility of finally interacting with the Chozo, in turn opening the door to more questions. What role do these surviving Chozo play in ZDR, and what connections do they have to the events leading up to Metroid Dread? Why do these Chozo warriors want to Sasuke choke Samus any chance they get? What are their motivations and intentions on this planet? We're certain that Dread will provide the answers to all this and more, and we can't wait to dig into the mystery.
Dread. An unprecedented threat is closing in on Samus.
As the title of the game suggests, Metroid Dread is going for a much more suspenseful and almost horror-like approach to the series' gameplay and level design formula. More specifically, the level design seems to have shifted to put an emphasis on heightening tension while evading the unrelenting and seemingly indestructible robotic menace Emmy in encounters similar to those found in Metroid Fusion. Like hiding from Emmy, avoiding combat with your own doppelganger in Fusion created a very palpable sense of dread and helplessness, a phenomenon not seen before in a Metroid game. For the first time, Samus was her own worst enemy, and it certainly didn't help that her weapons and gear did little to discourage her overpowered reflection. Dread looks as though it's going to crank that suspense up to 11. Having a bunch of unstoppable robots straight out of Aperture Science chasing the player around and insta-killing them the moment they are caught certainly helps Dread live up to its subtitle. Additionally, both combat and movement in general seem much more dynamic and kinetic this time around to accommodate fleeing rather than fighting this unstoppable threat, with the new sliding and updated parrying moves making it possible to almost parkour your way through these new environments. While this expanded sense of dread with the presence of Emmy and other powerful enemies is certainly welcome, we hope at the very least it doesn't take away from the experience of exploring every nook and cranny of this new planet and uncovering the hidden secrets and surprises that lie on our journey ahead.
As Samus continues to explore, she'll gain additional abilities.
A new Metroid game wouldn't be complete without an exciting arsenal of weapons and abilities designed to vanquish new and old foes alike, and Dread is certainly benefiting from the innovations in gameplay that Mercury Steam has brought to the franchise. From new Aeon abilities like the stealth-focused Phantom Cloak to the return of old but refined favorites like Seeker Missiles and the Speed Booster, Metroid Dread is looking to have a good balance of both familiar and innovative gameplay mechanics. The new Slide Move and Spider Magnet upgrade are other welcome additions to the game, giving Samus the ability to move swiftly under low tunnels and navigate across walls and ceilings. Additionally, the refinement of the melee counter and introduction of the dash melee move seem poised to bridge the gap between ranged and close combat, further refining the gameplay for a tight and seamless experience. One new ability that piqued our interest was teased when Samus's left arm glowed red after encountering a wall of Chozo hieroglyphics. While the true nature of this power remains to be seen, the trailer hints at past encounters with Metroids, X-Parasites, and the dark revelations Samus makes regarding the Chozo warriors she has faced, possibly awakening a pent-up rage within our power-armored hero. Time will tell if Dread explores the darker side of Samus's powers as we move closer to launch.
You are faced with overwhelming power. Your highest priority should be simply to survive.
Metroid Dread is without question the new 2D Metroid game we've collectively dreamed about since the days of the DS, and it's no exaggeration to say that this has been a long time coming. Metroid has long been seen as all but abandoned by its hardcore fans, and poor sales figures compared to other Nintendo intellectual properties like Mario and Zelda didn't exactly do the series any favors. Nintendo took a huge risk in outsourcing one of its most beloved hardcore franchises to an independent third-party developer for Samus Returns in 2017, but it's probably safe to say that this move has more than paid off. Mercury Steam has unquestionably brought new life to the franchise, managing to create the look and feel of a 2D Metroid game for current consoles, while also including all of the bells and whistles we come to expect from modern gaming. The surprising success of Samus Returns, while perhaps held back by the technical limitations of the 3DS and its somewhat lukewarm sales figures, was definitely the much-needed push the franchise needed to move it back into the mainstream, and more critically, to push Nintendo to greenlight Metroid Dread. Far from holding back, Nintendo seems to be pushing Dread as much as they possibly can, and we genuinely hope that this will lead to the final product enjoying resounding praise and success. It's hard not to feel old after realizing that this new 2D mainline entry represents a 19-year wait, and yet, it feels like there couldn't be a better time to be a Metroid fan. There you have it. Those are the 5 things we're excited for in Metroid Dread. Have anything you're excited about in Samus's new adventure? Feel free to let us know in the comments, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell to see more videos like this one from the classiest cavern on the World Wide Web.